Hi everyone, welcome back to Desert Owl Forge. My name is Tim, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to forge a nail. This little project will test the skills that you learned so far and allows to practice drawing and offsetting in a more creative manner. First, I will show you how to forge a basic nail out of a 3/8 round stock and a 3/8 square stock. The tools you need for this project are a 2-pound hammer, a cut-off hardy or any other tool to cut material with, and the nail header tool. Also, you can use your tweezers or a pair of tongs to handle the material. First, we're going to use the 3/8 round stock. We're going to forge a short but sharp point. As usual, we rotate our material 90 degrees, keep everything centered, and then go all around and smoothing it up. I'm going to go slow with this one first, just to show you. Normally, if you practice this enough, you can just do it with one heat. So we're going to give another heat and come back. So with the second heat, we're going to go to the other side of the anvil and place the material so that the end of the taper is at the edge, and we're going to forge the shoulder. Rotating around to keep everything fairly centered. And you're going to go also fairly thin with this one until it fits in one of our holes on the nail heading tool. Almost there. So to finish up our little point here, I'm gonna pin it down to the required thickness. Center it. You can just place the material here and hit on the forge button, and it will push it to the center. And now it will fit in our little hole. Perfect. Now we're going to cut it off about 3/8 off of the end of our taper. If you feel confident, you can combine the first two steps and forge the shank of the nail with one heat. First, we forge the shoulder, rotating around and around to keep everything centered as usual. And then we forge the point. And we smooth everything up and check if it fits in the nail header tool. And it's good. To cut with the hardy, you place the edge where you want to cut, and then you strike down on it, turn 180, strike down again, turn 90, strike again, 180, strike again, 90, until you almost cut through. Then don't strike above the edge, but off the edge, and pushing it off, like so. So after we heated our piece, we're going to place it in the hole and just strike down on it. This is the part when you practice the upsetting, reducing length and increasing circumference. Now once you get to this point, I like to take the edges off and put a little chamfer around it. That just gives you a little more character to our nail head. And that's it. We finished the first nail. Just pop it out. And beautiful. I will show you some close-ups of this. As you can see, I'm using the forged tweezers for this one, so this is a perfect use for this tool. I had a video on how to make them, so check that out. So here's our finished nail. This little project allows you to practice two basic techniques at once: the drawing techniques to forge the shank of the nail, and the offsetting technique to forge the head of the nail. I recommend you to start with a 3/8 by 3/8 square or a 3/8 round material, because forging smaller or larger pieces can be challenging. The challenge with the smaller pieces is too hard to control, and the challenge with the larger pieces is that it can be physically challenging to forge. I'm going to forge a nail out of the 3/8 by 3/8 square now, and I'm going to show it to you using time-lapse. Now that I showed you how to forge a basic nail, I'm going to show you how to do a more advanced one. For this project, we need a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch solid bar. The tools we're going to use is a 2-pound hammer, a 3-pound hammer, a cut-off hardy, a nail header, and 2 small punches. I'm going to explain everything as we go along. So the first step is to forge a nice sharp point. We're using the 3-pound hammer for the 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch solid. This is an appropriate hammer for this. And we're going to forge a fairly short but sharp point again. Paying attention to the usual turning and keeping everything centered. Now this is going to be a little bit more challenging physically because this is a larger section. We're going to give another heat and come to the other side of the anvil. So now we're here. We place the point at the same position at the edge of the anvil. We start to forge the shoulder. Turning again to keep everything centered. And heat it up one more time. So we draw it down or out until we have the good thickness to fit in one of our holes on the header tool. And this is going to be the big one now. Awesome. I'm going to mark it where I'm going to cut while it's cold. I'm going to have about 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch little cube at the end. This gives us about the right size for this project. I'm going to heat it up and cut it off. To do the cut, we place the piece on the hardy and strike, turn 180, strike again, turn 90, strike, turn 180, strike again, and then we go around and around. And when we getting to a thin point, you're going to just hit off the edge and shear it off. It is important to turn so that little burr is on the center of the material. I'm actually going to remove that for this project. So here's the piece after cutting. We forged the shank and I removed the burr to have a nice clean square to forge the head. So here's our piece heated up and ready to forge. And we're going to use the hammer, 3-pound hammer, and just pound straight down. Try to go straight down to keep the head of the nail centered. This can be challenging, you just need a lot of practice. Now we're gonna remove it and shape up the head to have a nice square. And now we're gonna switch to the 2-pound hammer and just shape the head of the nail a little bit, make it more square before we proceed to the next step. Next we're going to use these 2 punches to put some features on the head of the nail. These are made out of 5/16 tool steel. They are water hardening tool steel. One is shaped as a hemisphere, the other one has an elongated shape with all the corners rounded off. We're going to heat up the head and use these punches to put the features on. I'm going to hold them with the pair of vice grips so they don't fly away as I hit them. So first we're going to use the elongated punch and put a divot on each corner. And then in between. This will act as just guides for the next step. Now we're gonna deepen those grooves until we are happy with the results. It's very important to work hot because otherwise you won't have a nice impression. So now that our grooves are nice and deep, we're going to change to our other punch and just make a nice deep impression in the center. Like so. Then I'm going to just run the brush over. And here's the finished nail head. As you can see, forging nails is an awesome way to practice your basics. I only showed you 3 different types, but there are hundreds upon hundreds of ways to do them. It's up to your imagination and creativity. So this is the end of this video. I hope you learned something new and interesting today. If you'd like to support my channel, please subscribe, like, share, and comment. If you'd like to see my work, please visit my website www.desertowlforge.com. Also, don't forget to send me pictures of your progress. Thanks for watching and see you next time.